Hi everyone, this is my daughter Nyomi.
Hi.
Hi. So she is my ninth grader. Yeah, ninth grade. And this year she's in a virtual school, the same school she did in the 7th grade. And I thought it would be a good idea to have her come on and talk to you about her experience with the school so far, just to give you a really honest overview of the school and her experience. So those of you who've seen our unboxing, we haven't really told you what it's like. So that's why she's here to talk to you about that. So what's the name of your school, and just tell our viewers like what the name of the school is and anything you want to start off with about it.
So it's called Connections Academy, and it's for all grades, like kindergarten to 12th grade, and they have it in most states, I think. And so I guess how it works is like it's kind of like homeschool but online. So it's like an online public school, so you have a teacher for every subject and you just have the normal subjects for your grade. And instead of just like going to school and doing them, you can do them all at home or wherever you want, because it's all on the computer, all online. So you can kind of do it wherever you want and like however you want to do it, as long as you like get it by the due date and you don't get behind.
Okay, so it's kind of like homeschooling in what way to you?
Well, it's sort of like homeschooling because you are kind of flexible and you don't have to like worry about like, I don't know, about going to a school. You can do it wherever. So
Yeah.
It's basically like homeschooling, except instead of buying different curriculum, it's just all online.
Okay.
And you get teachers that come with it.
Okay, so it's all online. It's under one school setting, and you have teachers available for every subject. So how is the process like as far as your schoolwork and the classes? And tell us a little bit about like maybe the live lessons, and just explain what that is.
Okay, so for most classes have a live lesson, which is like a regular lesson, I guess, with a teacher, and it's once a week, and it's online. So it's sort of like, on the screen you'll see like this, like a PowerPoint, and it'll have the different slides for each lesson, and the teacher will be on the microphone, usually talking through the slides, teaching you every week for each lesson. And then there's like all the kids in that class in your area will also be there, so there'll be like maybe 30 kids, and then you'll all be chatting in the chat pod to ask questions and stuff like that. And they're usually an hour long once a week. For
how many classes?
For however many classes you have. I have 7 classes, but not all of them have live lessons.
Okay.
Some of them are only every other week.
Can you tell, for 9th grade, tell our viewers like what classes you're taking with Connections Academy this year?
You might have different classes, but I have English, geometry, biology, French, freshman success, PE, and business keyboarding.
Okay. Was that 7?
Yeah.
Okay. And so of those 7, you have how often or how long does each course take or each class take to complete? For example, you have an assignment in geometry on Monday morning, right? So how long would that one assignment take you to complete?
Each lesson is usually like an hour long. So it might be like less, like if it's just like freshman success or something, or if you're just good at it, it might only take you half an hour. Or if it's harder for you, if it's a harder subject, it might be like 2 hours. For math, it usually takes me like an hour to an hour and a half, unless it's hard for me, and then it might take 2 hours. But usually each one is 1 hour.
Including the like freshman success?
Freshman success is like 15
business
minutes.
Keyboarding?
That's like half an hour.
Half an hour.
But usually
so in general, would you say that one school day would last you about 7 hours or less? 7 hours? That's a long time, right? 6 to 7 hours school day. So how do you get it all accomplished, considering you're a very busy girl, you're involved in a lot of different things that we'll talk about in a few minutes, but how do you get it all accomplished?
You have to wake up really early, and you have to be really self-motivated, like I'm gonna do this all today.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need help, you should like not be scared to ask for help from your teachers or your parents or whoever's good at that subject, and like just make sure that you get it done quickly.
Yeah. Well, are your teachers all available? For example, you have a math teacher, English teacher, science teacher, or biology. Are they all available pretty much throughout the week if you need their help? How does that work? How do you get help from your teachers when you're stuck?
Well, you can there's lots of different ways. You can webmail them or call them, or some teachers let you text them, usually just call them, or go to live lessons, which are once a week usually. So if you needed help with a certain math problem and the live lesson wasn't for a couple days and it was due today and you needed help with it, then you could webmail them or you could call them if they're available. They usually usually webmailing is the best way. Usually they respond pretty quickly. Sometimes it might take them a little while, but usually they respond.
Okay, so you have the help built in. However, it's still pretty hefty day with your scheduling. And then tell me just a little bit briefly about your biology, because that's one of your classes where you're not just doing that online. So tell me about how that works.
So not every state has this, but I guess California requires that you have an actual lab for biology. So I have a biology lab that meets once a month. And yeah, it's really fun because I met some friends there and we do different experiments, and you get to look in the microscope at different things.
Right.
And cells and stuff like that.
Yeah, so they have hands-on experience in their lab. They have to meet in person with a biology professor that's assigned to them through the school, and they're actually meeting. The location that they've chosen is a college because they have the labs all set up for biology and chemistry. So once a month they do have to meet in person for high school, and I think it's only for high school and for the state of California to meet some A to G requirement thing. But so that's how that works. So tell me some of the other things that tell them some of the other things you're involved in as far as music and your extracurriculars, what you're doing.
Okay, so with the school, I'm doing art club and pin pal club. Art club is really fun. So it's once a week. You have on Tuesdays and Fridays, and you get to submit your art and look at other kids' art, and it's really fun. And then pin pal club, it's basically they just give you somebody else's address and you write back and forth. And then outside of connections, I have choir, and I'm on the worship team for my church, and then I'm in a leadership group at my other church, and then I do violin, have violin lessons, and
that's pretty much it. But that's pretty full schedule for you, right?
And I want to do basketball.
Yeah, and we do a homeschool PE too every week. So let's see. So now let's kind of get more into your opinions about the school, or not even so much the school itself, but your experience, because everybody's experience is different. And whether it's connections or some people learn K-12, or there's a lot of different online schools out there, but this is from the perspective of a public online school where the requirements are going to be really different than in a private online school. So that means her experience is going to be really different. So tell us how did you feel at the beginning of the school year, and then how are you feeling now about your school in general and about your experience, and any tips you have for others watching.
Okay. So at the beginning of the school year, so they had this thing where you have to do this test, this Scantron or something. I forgot what it's called.
Is the iReady? No. Okay.
I forgot what it was called.
Yeah.
But you have to do this test at the beginning of the school year before a certain day. You have a month to do it, I guess.
Is that where they do placement?
Yeah, so that they can decide how, it doesn't affect your grade at all, but it just helps them to know what you need help with and what you're good at if you're on track and stuff. And so before school even started, they emailed everyone. They said that if you completed it before school started, then you would get extra credit. So I completed it before school even started, and I got extra credit for that. So as soon as I started, I was already kind of I had extra credit and I was doing good.
Yeah.
And so I was this is easy, this is doing good. But after a couple of weeks, it got like harder. Like not super hard, but it was just like I got on the first day actually. I got behind because I didn't do enough school. So then that entire first week, I had to work really, really hard just because I got behind on one day. And recently, the Wi-Fi turned off in our area for some reason. And so I just couldn't do school that day.
We were out of luck that day.
And so the next day I had 2 days worth of school, and just because of that one day I got behind. So you need Wi-Fi all the time.
Yep.
And if you get behind, then it's really hard to catch
Like
up.
one day of being behind will set you back
bad.
for like a week or something, or at least a couple of days, because you're having, especially if you have more work assigned to you every day, which you do. But thankfully we're on this Thanksgiving break, and so they have this week of time where, you know, there's no additional assignments, so she was able to catch up. But that's one thing to keep in mind if you were ever to decide to go this route, is that it's easy to get behind, and it can be a little bit stressful, I think. And that's, you can talk about that. How's your stress meter with this particular school arrangement?
It's kind of stressful just because, like, I don't know if it's like this for regular public schools, but we can see our grade book. So we usually check our, like me and my friends who are also in online school, we usually check our grade books like every day. And so we have these things called quick checks, which are like little just quizzes to see if you actually understand, and they're just like 4 questions or something. But if you get a bad grade on a quick check, it can kind of change your grade a little bit. And so if you like fail one test, then like your grade will go down, and then you do good on another test and it goes up, and then it just looks like your grades are flip-flopping, and then it stresses you out. So maybe don't check your grade book every day, just check it every week maybe, so that you're not super stressed out.
But isn't that kind of hard not to, when the grade is right in your face when you first log into the dashboard? Isn't it like right there?
No, you have to click on the
it is
either courses
for
or
the parent portal. We see it like right when we log in. But yeah, so you're saying like it fluctuates with every test and every assignment you take.
Not quite everyone, but it fluctuates pretty easily. Like if you just do 2 lessons and it's like it changes. It's really weird, but
that can be stressful. Yeah. And then so as far as the number of assignments, like we already talked about like how easy it is to get behind if like you lose Wi-Fi, or if something happens, let's say you're sick, or if you are not, if you're hospitalized, or maybe you have a really, really hectic schedule with other outside obligations, it would be easy to get behind, I think. I think you've told me about some people that you've known in the school who may be experiencing that right now as well. So, so we're kind of giving you like the full, you know, array of what it's like being in Connections as a high schooler, as far as, you know, 9th, 10th grade, and what that's like and what to expect if you decided to do it. What do you have any other like advice, opinions, tips, and like just be really, really honest with our viewers about anything to watch out for, or just advice?
I think if you really want to do online school, you should definitely like know that you really want to do it. Like don't just do it because it seems cool or because you just don't like your school.
Yeah.
And like make sure that you're really self-motivated. You have to be really self-motivated and be really willing to just get everything done, because you won't have anyone like standing behind you telling you to do it. You don't go to school every day where you're forced to. Like if you want, you could just not do it for a week, and then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot to do school, and then you're way behind.
Yeah.
So you have to like actually force yourself to do it every day, or have a plan so that like if you have to take a break one day because you're busy, then you have to like double up on one day or do extra work the next day, so that you know, and you have to, and you should like have a planner and write everything down and be really organized and just make sure that you don't get behind.
Good tips. And you keep a planner and you organize your weeks, and I've seen you writing down your classes and getting up earlier. Sometimes you get up earlier than me to get started with school, and so you're pretty systematic like that. And you've been doing really good as far as keeping up and staying on top of things. But do you think this is the type of education that you would consider continuing in the future? or what would you want to do in the future? Is this something that you like and you want to continue, or do you think that you would go back to something else or do something different in the future?
I do kind of like it because I like that you can kind of do it wherever you want. And, like, all you need really is just a laptop and then like some paper and pencil. You don't need that many school supplies. But it is kind of hard, like, keeping on track, and it's easy to get behind. And I think I'd rather like be able to learn more with other kids, like in a classroom, rather than just online, because it's just helpful having a teacher there, and it's fun being able to study with other people.
Yeah.
Because like most people aren't in online school, so it'll be hard to find other people in online school. The only reason I really know other people is because I happen to have the lab required, and you might not necessarily have that in real life. So I think I might want to do something else, but I do like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the drawback, if especially if social is a really big part of your desire to like how you do things in life, and if you want to be around other people for the study partner and for that accountability, or if you want to have that face-to-face with instructors, you're not going to get that in online school. With online school, there are definitely benefits and perks, and there's some positive things about it. Like I said, if you wanted to, if you needed some help with your geometry or whatever math you're taking, you have a teacher that you can contact and they can help you. So that's one of the reasons I liked it, is that you had the built-in help. But there's also, to everything in life, there's a good side and there's a bad side. So there's some negative things that maybe would make you want to move on later on and do something different. Yeah. So
some people really love it. So
yeah, we've heard good things about it. There's awesome things, and there's also people that don't have such a great experience. So if you're considering it and you've seen our unboxing and you heard me talk about it, this is what's going on now, and how you can just take from what we're saying now and then really deeply consider if you want to go that route. If you really feel like it's something you want to do, give it a try. But otherwise, if you feel like you really need to meet with people in person and you need that face-to-face, then online school is probably not for you. Also, if you are, like we mentioned, not really good at being self-motivated, then online school is not for you.
But you can still be social, actually. You just have to try. Like, if you want to meet other kids in your life, you just have to be part of like homeschool groups, because even though you're in online school, you can still say that you're homeschooled, so you can be part of that. And like also you can do lots of sports and stuff, and you can like just be involved in churches or whatever stuff that you have, so you can still have a lot of friends.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing.
You just have to try, you don't just see people.
That's true. That's true. And because I guess basically what we're saying, if you're banking on the virtual school to be your end all, then it's probably not going to fly. If you really need to be able to bring into your life other things for your social, for like, let's say you're involved in a church or youth group, that helps. Any kind of outside activities with other people, groups and teams, that kind of thing. It helps a lot, because online school can be, I guess, stressful if you have that many classes and you have that much work and that many assignments, and you're really just focusing on the academic part. So for the social and the friends and the outings and the activities, you need to go beyond online school for that.
You can also still like go to activities at your school, like the public school, if you have friends who go to public school, because they usually let homeschoolers go to stuff. Like you just might have to pay for it, but
but there are things available. You just have to look into it. But yeah, so that's our experience so far, and we'll keep you updated on what our future plans are. Never know. So we'll see if this is something we continue or if we transition into something different. We'll let you know. But thank you for watching, and did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Oh, well, there is something else, because like I already said, they have clubs, but they also have like, you can webmail other students, which is really cool, and they have message boards. So if you join a club, like Pen Pal Club, you can like talk to any other kids and start webmailing each other, and then you can actually become good friends with people. from there.
You've met a lot of people
Yeah,
like
I've met
that.
a lot of people like on message boards, and also then you'll just like maybe give each other your Instagrams and then start like DMing each other on Instagram. So you can make a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You just probably won't see them in person. But
Right.
you can Skype and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that's it. Anything else?
I think that's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah.
And did you feel like the registration process was pretty easy
Yeah.
getting in?
You just register like for a normal school.
Yeah. And they send the books, the material, like I showed in the other video, the computer, everything.
Yeah.
When we're done with the school, whether it's the middle of a semester, end of a school year, no matter what time it is, you just let them know and you box up everything that they sent you, because you'll get the boxes and you keep the boxes and then you ship it back, and that's it. And they do issue a transcript and they provide it for the next school. If you were to transfer over to the next school, they'll transfer the transcript over to that school. Yeah.
They also have field trips and stuff.
They do, but what's the problem with
none
that?
of them are close to us at all.
Right.
Like they're all like at least an hour away.
Yeah, and
So-
sometimes more. Like there are a lot of the field trips for connections that are in Southern California, which is like 5 or 6 hours away from us, and there's no way. Yeah, that's kind of tough.
If you happen to live close, then you should go. But
Yeah.
we're not close to anything. Like they have like field trips
Yeah.
and like dances and like picnics and stuff, but
Yeah,
you can't necessarily. You might not necessarily be able to go.
Right.
So don't count on it, I guess.
right. And then we do have, not to be confused with the other charter school that my youngest daughter is in. That one has field trips as well, but some of those actually are a lot closer in our town. So it just depends on what school, and I don't know much about how K-12 does their field trips because we weren't in that for very long. That was years ago. So we're just kind of talking about connections right now, but definitely you would have to look into all of that before you made a decision and decide if that's something that was, if it was worth it for you, and if you wanted to have your student to have that many teachers, and if you wanted to have more flexibility with what classes they were taking, because you really don't get a choice, right? Like, how did that work with registration? Because I remember us asking for some classes that I don't think you got some of
Yeah, I
them.
didn't get some.
Yeah.
Just kind of like Mom, she showed me like all the things, like all the options. And then I said, oh, I'd like that, and then she put that in, and then I only got like one of the ones.
Yeah, she didn't get all of her electives that the classes she asked for. And I don't think you asked for business keyboarding.
I think that was like a second choice or
Second
third
choice.
or something.
Yeah. So you don't get flexibility really with your choices of classes when you're registering. You just kind of get whatever they give you, and sometimes you have to fight for like if you want an AP class, you really kind of have to push for that. I tried to get her registered into an AP because in our other school covering that we were in last year, we would have been able to do that, but with connections they wouldn't let her register for that. They took it off and added just a regular biology. So yeah.
So for California, you don't need volunteer hours, which is kind of a good thing. It's just kind of weird though.
Well,
you don't need it unless you're in like the honor society. You can only be that if you're in 10th grade.
Right, and I disagree with that because for me, it's like I've seen a lot of the other schools who are doing that, and a lot of homeschoolers are keeping track of their volunteer hours, and so it's kind of baffling to me that Connections doesn't count it until 10th grade.
And only if you're in the honor society.
And only if you're in the honor society.
So
that doesn't make sense to me.
it.
So I'm personally keeping track of her volunteer hours for whatever choices we might make in the future. But yeah, that's interesting that they don't. What else? Definitely, I could not recommend it for the younger years. I'll just add that in, and I can do a separate video about that if you want. But just because there's not a lot of flexibility. There's really no flexibility. I know they say there's flexibility, and I guess what they mean by that is there's time to, like if you're going on vacation, you can take school with you. I guess that's the flexibility they mean.
Yeah, you're not stuck in a school building.
but you still have to get the work done, the same amount of work done, or you'll get behind. So
Yeah.
you really can't have flexibility, because if you're going to take a vacation one week, you have to bring your laptop and have Wi-Fi and keep up. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a drawback at this point. So really you are kind of gearing your life around the school schedule and making sure that you are, you know, on task with your assignments. But yeah. Anything else? So you said that you kind of like it, but you kind of
I kind of like just being able to like I could do it at Starbucks or anything like that.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to take a break one day, I could. I just have to like schedule around it, like do extra on the day before and the day after. So it's not like you have to be in school every day. They don't really care as long as you just like get it all done by like the due date. And even the thing is, like, the due date doesn't really mean anything either, because like even if you're like 2 weeks late, you'll still get the full grade. They'll just give you like temporary zeros after 2 weeks, I think. But you don't even want to get like 2 days late, because it'll just pile up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's all of the info that you would want to know about high school in Connections Academy, and likewise probably for some other online schools, but this is our experience. So let us know if you have any other questions, any specific questions that you might have that we didn't address in this video, and maybe we'll come back and do a follow-up. And that's it for now, I think. So thank you for watching, and thank you for coming on and sharing that with everyone.
Welcome.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Bye.